Okay, Sydney, do you want to go ahead and kick us off with the conflict of interest?
Yes, I can go ahead and do that. Did everyone receive my email on Friday afternoon? Okay, great. And I will apologize in advance. I forgot that this is the working session, so we will not obviously be voting on them today, but we will vote on them at your next council meeting, which I believe is in early January. And so these conflict of interest forms are something that we need to make sure we are staying on top of and filling out as a matter of standard practice. And they are ones that you are responsible for kind of constantly assessing your any benefits you're deriving from city purchases or contracts. And according to state statute, these should be introduced and disclosed and put before the council before the city makes any sort of contract or purchase. And so let's make sure we kind of streamline a process, making sure that we keep these blank forms handy. And obviously, different things will come up. They might be a matter of discretion where you're like, I think this might be a benefit, maybe it's not. We would encourage you to err on the side of caution, and it would be better to over disclose something as opposed to saying, oh, it'll be fine. And so if I guess it's not super pertinent that you give it to me tonight because we won't be dealing with it for another 2 weeks, but Jewel and I would really like to see, just as we get started and you kind of get in the spirit of it, get the hang of it. It would be great if Jewel and I could get all of your conflict of interest forms for 2025, and we will review them. And then that will be prior to the January meeting. In January, the council will vote on each individual conflict of interest form. And then there is a portal through the State Board of Accounts, and Jewel and I will upload those to the State Board of Accounts portal to make sure that it's received and documented. There also needs to be a copy kept in the clerk treasurer's office. So some sort of standard procedure to make sure once it's filled out, you have it go before the council, a copy is kept in the clerk treasurer's office, and then it's filed through the SBOA portal. I'm happy to create some sort of checklist or short summary that I can send to all of you so that you can kind of easily navigate that. But that is what we are looking at. We are going to do the next one for 2025, but we'll do 2026 as it might not be a bad idea if you can think of anything that you know you'll be benefiting from in 2026 to also fill it out and bring it to that January meeting because we will then be in the year. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Jewel and I individually.
I have a quick question if I can. Can you hear me, Sydney?
Yeah, I can.
This form goes through section 3 of contracts. It says if it's not a contract, complete section 4, but I don't see a section 4.
Okay, let's see.
Page 2. Is it on 2?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I have the PDF right here. I just need to make sure I can open it.
But sorry. As long as it's on the form, it's just not showing.
And Sydney, just so I understand, this is blanket. We're all going to fill this out, every member of council, just to have it on file.
If you
to sell anybody, but
sorry, if you're absolutely certain there's no benefit I've derived from a contract or a purchase, then it's not necessary that you fill it out. But I would suggest reviewing it in depth because it gives a nice summary at the top of what exactly you would qualify for. And so it would be a good idea just so you have that language fresh in your mind so as things pop up. But if there's nothing you can think of for 2025, then there's no need.
Okay. I do have a question. It's Amy.
Oh, hi.
Hello. For instance, I'm on the Alexandria Main Street, and I found out during their golf outing that the city had supplied like a small item for a goodie bag or some item for a goodie bag. Once I found that out, because it came across claims, I recused myself there. But is that something that I also should fill out a form for? It's not necessarily a business, but it's an organization that I'm involved with.
Yeah. It's a little more attenuated. I would have to look. I'm looking at the statute right now, trying to figure out where that would fit in. I would suggest that if it raises a red flag for you to fill out the form anyway, because you'll never be penalized for over disclosing. However, in that situation, I would say it's probably not a cut and dry conflict because you weren't a part of so I'm trying to understand your situation. So it was the city supplied gift bag items and then you received one because you were on the board.
No, I didn't even receive one, but
Oh.
they donated them towards our organization to hand out to the participants. And so I recused myself on the vote when it came
Yeah.
through the claim, just because I would, again, overly. But I
Sure.
didn't know if organizations also applied to this or if it was just for business.
Yeah, see, I think it's really it replies to you and it's a public servant who has a pecuniary interest. So that really just refers to, do you have a monetary interest? Do you stand to gain anything? Whereas in your situation, it was the organization that stood to gain from that. So that doesn't raise a red flag for me in any way, or it's a good example though of something that, kind of toes the line. So I'm glad you brought it up. I personally probably wouldn't recommend worrying about that so much because it's not that you individually benefited from it or any sort of business of yours. And it was really the organization that benefited.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Jeremy, I have the form open now. I'm trying to figure out oh, I see it. For purchases of goods or services without a contract, complete section 4. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes. I just didn't see section 4.
I believe that is on page 2. It's midway down. Identify and describe each purchase of goods or services in
Okay,
which the
that's fine.
public servant has a pecuniary interest.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So fast forward, people who have an interest, such as I'll use Roger, he's a painter. So we fast forward, Roger signed the conflict of interest form. In May, he paints the building. In June, we see the claims. So at that point, Roger would recuse himself from that claim line item. And that would sort of prompt that discussion. Well, I'm going to sit this out because it's me. And then we would take the vote.
Well, the way that the statute is written, what would be ideal in that situation is if Roger was going to paint in May, you would want to make sure that before the claim comes to the council, which is that final action, the minute that Roger knows he's going to paint something for the city, at that point, concurrently, I would suggest filling out the form and getting it in front of the council as soon as you can, because the way that the statute reads is it's before final action is taken on the contract or on the purchase. So if you can get ahead of it, and really the policy behind that is to try to inform the council of, hey, there's this contract coming down the line or this purchase. And just so you know, Roger's already filled out his conflict of interest form. And that way the council's fully briefed as they make a final decision on that action. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So for me personally, I'll have random small purchases throughout the year with either Mark or Dave. So I'll probably do one that would just cover the whole year because it's a valve here and a valve there maybe. But
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll bid a bigger project. And at that point in time, I would do one. If I knew that was coming up, I'll probably come to you guys and say, hey, there's some bigger project. And I'll do another one that would be more of a contractual type because it would be a contract. So that's just so the board's aware. That's probably what I'll do personally. Those are hit and miss like once every 2 or 3, 4 years, the bigger ones. It's really rare. So.
And since usually it's Board of Works that approves the contracts, our vote is just to say, yes, we'll accept this conflict of interest form.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Feeling better about that? Thank
And
you,
if-
Cindy.
Of course, I'm sure questions will pop up over time as you kind of get involved in certain projects and maybe have it at the forefront of your mind. So Jewel and I are happy to have an ongoing discussion as things pop up.
So if we fill one out for 25, we'll do another one then in 26, right?
Yes, yep, you have double to deal with this year.
Can we go ahead and fill them out now for 25?
Yes, yep.
Sorry, I keep
Go-
looking at the TV.
No, that's okay. Yeah, go ahead and fill them out for 2025. And in the off chance that you anticipate something coming up between now and the end of the year, also feel free to disclose that. And then we'll deal with that in January at your first council meeting. And if there's anything you anticipate for 2026, feel free to fill out a separate one for 2026 as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, rate studies. So, remind me again, Darcy, what's our next step? It's not till January. And then we need to decide on the rate that we're gonna roll out. And so I did pull up, Eric's email to all of us. Eric, remind me what's his last name?
Freedom.
Yes. So he put it together in that nice package, as far as the breakdowns and then the proposals that we've kind of tossed around as a group. At the bottom of the email, he lists the current minimum usage, which is 3,000 gallons. But then going forward, that minimum usage will be increased to 4,000. So that way, from what I understand, it's reaching more people. It's more of like a grace to more people to have that 4,000 minimum usage. So, in addition to that, the water, sewage, trash, storm, and hydrant fees are all kind of wrapped up in that. With the intent to cover those costs that the city's been eating that greater portion of. So painful, yes, painful. But we're kind of behind the 8 ball, and I think everybody understands that. So the proposal is, we've now deemed it phase 1, but water to see an increase to 2516. So this is a snapshot of the bill. Water increased to 2516. Sewage will go up to 6755. Trash goes up to 2393. Storm will increase to 655. And then the hydrant fee is not been shown on the bill before, right?
It's on the bill.
It is.
It's not been in a rate study.
Okay, so that will go to 324 for a total of 126.43 per month, which in comparison, current minimum bill, just paid it, 82.19 per month. In addition, as a customer optional with the closure, Board of Works just voted on the closure of the recycling center. Home recycle is an option through Best Way, and that will be at a rate of $19.50 per month. Okay, so that's to get the little canister at your home with the yellow lid. Okay, so.
Can I jump in with a technical question, and forgive me if this is answered, I haven't seen it
Yeah.
somewhere. The 3,000 gallon minimum, those proposed rates, as I understand it, are still at the 3,000 gallon minimum.
That's what I just said.
And then, before we answer that, we'll back up a little bit. I know that we used to get, the computer program dealt in units. And then you got meters and you read the meter books. Is that any kind of complicated change with the billing software?
No,
We do hundreds of gallons.
Yeah.
Right, so those read in hundreds, and then yours is,
We're the same.
it's the same. Okay, then there's units in cubic feet or
No.
all that crap.
No.
So I just want to make sure it wasn't some big hurdle to undertake to read.
Not at all.
We have to buy new software, get some upgrade, and change, because I know every town does it different. Some do 3,000, some do 3,200, some do 3,500, some 4,000. So
It's just a change in the software.
cool. Okay. I just want to make sure that wasn't a big mountain or hurdle to tackle, because I know it's different in every community. Just to make sure there wasn't any additional
Yes.
Yeah,
things that they'd have to take over, so.
but going back, so these proposals are on the 3,000 minimum gallon side? Is that what you said?
Sure.
They are, okay,
Versus our
okay.
Well,
four.
the current's 3,000, but then the
Oh.
proposed doesn't say if it's 3,000 or
Oh, it
4.
does on something, sorry.
it's all
Probably just
4,000.
not on Eric's.
All your rate studies are at 4,000 gallons.
And that's for the Baker Tilly rate.
Oh, yeah,
All of those
maybe
rate
that's what it
studies were
was.
4,000 gallons.
But on the other, is it the 3,000?
3,000 is only applicable to the current billing structure.
Correct, but I'm wondering the phase 1, 2, and 3
That's all based on 4,000 gallons.
for the Baker Tilly's. But I.
And for that,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Thank you for holding that up.
So forgive me for not catching that, but this increase covering another 1,000 gallons looks worse than it really is because you're getting an extra 1,000 gallons. If we were to back these numbers all down to 3,000, these numbers would all be less, so.
It's like an
That-
allowance, yeah.
My mind,
it's-
forgive me, I'm processing
Like
this out
right
loud with you
side.
guys. Well, I mean, it's not apples to apples. If the current bill showed 4,000, that 82.19 would be like 90 to $100.
So it was run at 4,000 on an earlier matrix. 82.19 is your base bill for $3,000. It was like 96 and change for 4,000.
Right. So the percent proposed increases that the public's gonna see in here are higher than they really are,
Right.
in my opinion, because we're looking a little bit apples to oranges. So I'm okay with everything we're doing. I just want to reiterate, I'm totally okay with what we have to do, but the percentage increases are kind of skewed and look a little higher than they really are. Because our base is based on 3,000 and we're moving to a 4,000. I mean, that's a 20%, difference between 3,000 where we're up.
So, and I think, my question would be, I know that when Jewel was here last, they talked about advertising it as a phase 3 and we could always back it down.
Mhm.
Do we know which phase 3 we have advertised it as?
Nothing's been advertised yet. You guys wanted your working session.
Okay,
It gets advertised in January, I believe, but they said they were gonna be the
I-
highest
Sorry,
rate.
I was gonna talk about advertising. So our office is working on a proposed ordinance because in order to advertise, we have to have the ordinance, at least the proposal. And so we have a colleague who just did this in another municipality, so it's been rather quick for him to draft, but it's not quite done. I can take those numbers that you just listed and make sure that those are inputted into the draft ordinance. And then if your next council meeting, sorry, let me look at my calendar, but I believe it would be January 5th. Yes, January 5th. And under Indiana code, you have to advertise for utility increases at least 10 days before the public hearing. So that would put us technically around, I think, the day after Christmas, maybe. So in order to make sure, I'm sure the papers won't be running on as regularly scheduled, I can make sure to get a proposed notice to Darcy for all of the above, because we have to do a separate one for water, sewer, trash. But they'll be largely identical. I can make sure to get her those notices this week. And then we can distribute the proposed ordinances so that you guys can review them and be prepared for the public hearing in January.
am I understanding that's gonna be held the 20th? the public
Yeah, I
hearing?
thought we talked about having that on the 20th.
We did.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's why I
Gives
wasn't
everybody more
sure
time
how many.
Away from the holidays.
and travel.
So January 20th, just to make sure.
It's
Oh,
a
so that buys us
Tuesday.
more time. Good, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that makes, plenty of time to advertise them. We only have to do it 10 days in advance. So that sounds good to me. I will make note of that right now.
Thank you.
So,
I'll be on
never mind.
vacation. Kidding.
forgive me.
Maybe for point of clarification, Sydney, if we do advertise the highest proposed rate, we can phase these in we've got a chart that we're discussing tonight, but we can phase these in as needed, as wanted, year to year. If something were to come up and catastrophically change, for better or for worse,
Yeah.
we can in theory go after the proposed chart we have before us, but
Yeah,
things
because
could change each year.
we knew or have a good idea, I think, of what 26 and 27's costs will be in order to build this out. And then projection in that third year, if everything kind of stays on par, then we can get pretty probably close to that number.
If we
But
win, yeah,
be able to
sorry.
be flexible.
If we win kind of our fight with IDEM with the state EPA, that final third number could come down. We might not have to adopt that final
Yeah,
amount.
Yes, that's my understanding. Yes.
And one other thing I'm trying to do, get some latitude in my world. Those rate studies you see are only through 24.
Yeah.
I want you to have 25 numbers since we're buttoning up 25. So as you're going into this with the public hearing and everything, you'll even have 25's numbers in front of you to know what went where for all of these utilities. So just got to keep everybody kind of out of my office and me in my office to get that to you. So I'm really, obviously just 2 more weeks of 25. So we pretty much got those numbers. I have almost all those numbers ready for you to put together.
When is the contract up with Gus Way? Does anybody know?
29.
29?
I knew it was through 28, but I couldn't remember.
We're gonna do some damage on that. Like I was telling Roger when I first got on here, it cost $7 for him to pick up my trash and the city was paying 13. The best way. When I saw that, I go, that's nuts. No wonder we're, losing money. That trash is gonna be fine. I'm gonna be ready for them when, if they can argue about that, because that's dirt cheap. Even phase 3 is dirt cheap. $6, $6.50 a week to get it out of there. Can't beat that. I think the trash one's gonna help us a lot. I don't know about the water and the other one like that.
I mean, I think we know what we have to do. It's ugly, but it's time. So I think the plan is, yes, to advertise at the higher, to be able to back it off to where it's needed to be. And then the only other thing is, being able to speak to and share some of the projects that would be able to, be done that's necessary and probably past time, such as meter swap outs and things like that. So, and I think all of those are important too, because it's going to get you down. It's the latest, data and things like that, quicker reads and things. So, if you ever have any questions about your consumption and things like that, I think it'll be a faster process. But just being able to share with the community, I think that will be important as to why it's necessary, where we've come, where we are, where we want to go, and why it's necessary. So I think those would be important factors too.
And I know in the scheme of all of it, this is a smaller portion, but the hydrant user fee, who establishes those?
That is a really great question. I do not know that answer.
Okay. I was just curious who did and how
I
often.
just
they
know the
can
last time
increase.
it was looked upon and established was, it was, because in 2012 was when Jan and Jack pulled it apart, that the general fund subsidizes half of it and the customers subsidize the other half.
But at the time, the mayor's office initiated that.
That
That was not the council.
Was that water board? I thought the water. board did
No, that never went
Mayor's
through the water
office.
board.
That was the mayor's office. That was Jack Woods.
Yes.
I just knew
That
it was
would be
Jack
fun.
and Jan that split it between the
Yes.
general fund and utility customer. I don't know what they did prior to that. That was BD before DARS.
Any other questions or concerns about that? Or also, do you think we can vote and get a majority vote to make this increase at our next meeting?
Yeah.
Or
The 20th.
in the 20, yeah.
That's like 2 meetings. We'll have a public hearing and then we'll have 1 or 2 to
Yeah.
pass it.
Just making sure that we're
Yeah.
processing.
Well, and again, which set are we advertising? Is it,
The highway.
right, but if you look at the one form versus the other form, they're not the same numbers. These two
Not that one, the one in your right hand.
is the one we're advertising.
That was my understanding.
202.
Yeah, that first one you got was me and rough numbering, trying to get you guys just some rough numbers, and then Mr. Eric is to put the final polish on it.
But it'll probably get, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll probably will you have one advertisement or multiple, one for each utility, or how will the advertisement roll out?
It will be one for each utility, but it will be all at once. We can bulk advertise it, list each of them and the ordinances. I also want to flag, and this is more of Darcy and I can work together on it, but under the statute, we also have to send out mailings, which are their notice mailings. And I don't remember the precise language of the statute off the top of my head, but it includes notice to people who are in the unincorporated bounds, but they still receive services from the municipal utility. So we'll want to make sure that we take a note of anyone who's receiving services who isn't actually living within the city of Alexandria, and they need to receive a notice in the mail. There's not incredibly strict notice requirements under the statute in terms of how that mailing looks. I think it needs to have one set paragraph, but we'll also, around the same time that we send those notices off to the newspaper, want to make sure that we also send all the mailings that we need to. And I'll summarize this in an email to you, Darcy.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Mhm.
I can work on that list now.
Just so I'm clear, so we advertise at the highest, the 20210. But what determines what we actually are gonna do?
You pick.
I think the
Based on what?
latest thing is that we were trying to get, was it Water and Storm? We talked to Todd about it. It's because of the future maybe funds, we were shooting for.
Oh, the
certain-
SRF
You know
funding.
what I'm talking about?
The $150,
Yeah.
which I did find a couple other sources. One primarily that we can possibly get funding for our projects that won't have the 150 requirement, just great news. If we don't have to hit that number. But the phase in is kind of up to us as we want to either ease it into the community or just rip the Band-Aid off and go. I mean, we can go towards phase 2, phase 3. I mean, it's really up to us. The only unknown number is still the final big project for EPA and IDEM and Dave.
Well, also, we talked about there won't be any bond pursuits in 2026.
No.
So that's sort of off the table. I think I would be in favor of going to phase 1. It's the $126 figure, 126.43 for 2026. I would be in favor of that. I feel like that is it's an ease into what's coming down the pipe.
Will that help us bring us out of the deficit or?
It'll take us more time to come out of the deficit at those rates, but yes, we'll start to see traction forward.
Mhm.
So we don't have a time limit that we have to be balanced.
And fire department is who establishes the hydrant fees.
Oh, I think I
Working with the
remember
mayor's
how to say
office.
that. Okay.
So half right with the mayor, but fire department is a part of that as well. Thank you.
Just throwing it out there. I mean, I'm presuming whatever timeline we prefer as council for the second increase going into 27, we'll just have to see how the numbers start to look. And if we need to raise rates early January again, 27, we'll have to, or if it looks really bad and we got to come back and do it fourth quarter 26.
I'll be honest with you, I've kind of just resigned myself to the fact that for the next few years in January, there will be a rate change. That's
And
just
the
me.
ordinance can be wrote, you can set that up where it can be tiered into 3 to 5 year phase in. So that it's not scratch, do again, scratch, do again. You could set up this ordinance to do that. And then let's say we get to that point and we don't need to go to that tier, you could then work on an actual amendment, restructuring that timeline for your rate increases. That way we're not
Public hearing every year.
public hearings, advertising, kind of re-ripping the Band-Aid off, packing the wound, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get it all scraped and in place and then absolutely keep revisiting it. But
yeah,
that's less expense and less time to walk it back. Like Jules always said, put the worst case scenario on the table and walk it back.
I just don't want it to get out of hand again or to
No.
get away from us, because
No.
even something as small as the hydrant fee, to find out that we've been charging $3.25 less per month, so why wasn't
And the
that?
general fund has been paying for that other, yeah.
Yeah, so then why isn't that brought to people's attention or found out? I just don't want the same thing to happen. I don't want history to repeat itself.
yeah.
So I'm good with the idea of whatever we need to make it easiest in the future, but I don't want it to be overlooked.
Yeah, I would say,
And
Bill,
that's my biggest fear.
I
is
think
that we don't-
at a minimum of or I guess maximum every 2 years, we're taking a look at the funds and where we need to be so that it just is a cycle.
That's my only thing is while we're currently going through this process to establish it, that we help prevent rewriting the history of.
Sydney, does that propose any logistical issues writing the ordinance? We're advertising the maximum, but are you guys writing it for the maximum now? Or are you drafting a phase-in ordinance?
I am under the impression that we are currently, Jewel told me to take the highest, so I think that would be your maximum. And then what will happen is we'll advertise it as such. You'll do your public hearing, you'll have your 2 readings, and then once you adopt it, you can always, after the public hearing, based on your feedback or, second thoughts, you can always modify. You don't have to accept it as is. So at that point, we could make modifications, and I don't think it shouldn't create any logistical issues on our end, at least. It'll really just be plugging in different numbers.
Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I understand this. So we're gonna take the minimum from 3,000 to 4,000, which in phase 1 is what we are proposing enough for that 4,000, since we're increasing that 4,000?
What do you mean by enough?
Well, so we're saying they can use more at this minimum amount of money, right?
Yeah,
So, but does that make your waste and your storm go up because it's going in, greater amounts going in?
They ran the numbers to cover
Yeah.
4,000.
So this is in that.
Can I say something, to kind of bounce off what she just said? Because I've been around long enough, I've done this a lot. So the 2 things, advice wise, I can say for you guys, since you're basically on the firing line, is number 1, when you get that percentage of people that want to bitch and gripe, which that's going to happen. The number 1 thing is this is not a water bill. It's a utility bill. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not a water bill. Number 2, when you get that real hard-nosed person that wants to battle you about the water, you tell me where you can spend $25 and get 4,000 gallons of any liquid for $25. You're talking 4,000 gallons of treated water for $25. That is, and we did this years ago, and the girls, Christy and Jan, did a printout and put one in the utility office down here years ago and compared 3,000 gallons of mouthwash, how much it would be, 3,000 gallons of milk, how much it would be, 3,000 gallons of gas, how much it would be. When you get, when you're paying, I know, I'm just saying, that will benefit you in a
I forgot the girl
conversation.
Put it in the bottle of water.
Yeah, because when you're spending $25 for 4,000 gallons of water, that is extreme bang for the buck. But it's not a water bill, it's a utility bill.
Yeah.
And that's
That's
it's a big crutch for me because I hate it when they come in and say, well, my damn water bill. No, your water bill didn't go up because you have a utility bill. And what you're paying for water it's minute. I mean, when you wrap yourself around 4,000 gallons of water, you're gonna get $25 for it. So I'm just, because you're gonna get hit with the stupid people. And that's just a couple bargaining points that I've used over the years that, number one, correctly call it what it is. It is a utility bill. And then, $25 and what, 15 cents for 4,000 gallons of water. That's very economically sufficient and efficient and coal efficient or whatever else. So I want to throw that out because Darcy and I've had talks about it. And I brought that up from years ago and there was a sign down there in the utility office that had all this on there where you go buy $3,000 or gallons worth of mouthwash and see what you pay for it. And it was kind of stupid, but it was kind of rough,
It helped though.
it helped people to
It really
understand.
helped The customers understand. Yeah, I totally forgot we had that. Totally forgot we had that.
So that's just,
You can pretty much do that with any utility.
yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents of
Or
advice.
else can you get rid of 4,000 gallons of stuff that comes down your drain for $60?
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean,
It's a whole lot harder
Just
to,
show my electric bill.
it's a whole lot harder to, yeah,
well,
to clean up the
And
water.
Dave and I have talked, both our plants run off a 3-phase power. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I&M did 2 increases. Well, I don't have a clue what Dave's is, but I can tell you right now, mine's over $10,000 a month just to get the water out.
That's what mine is.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
And I mean,
That's if nothing breaks.
yeah,
nothing
Indiana,
down,
yeah,
and
Indiana, Michigan did not say, hey, prepare yourself. I mean,
No, they just hit us.
so we're still paying off the old rates for the electrical new rates.
And gas did the same thing.
I mean, my plant's total electric. There's not even gas down Old Mill Creek Drive. So everything I do with 4 well motors and 3-phase power, it's $10,000 a month to get water to town.
Stations, running blowers.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not out to educate people, but people just really don't
Well, I
realize.
think people need to be educated because.
I
And we
mean,
try. We
Well,
do
they'll be the
try.
ones that don't care.
Mhm, oh, yeah,
It just doesn't matter.
I know.
You're all lining your pockets and that's the end of the story.
Oh, yeah,
How many times have you heard that?
Well,
you didn't give me my check this
that
month.
was
Under
good
the
food for
table.
thought.
Yes.
You
that's
gave
right.
Dave his.
I like that
I
explanation.
do.
We'll assign the mayor's office the PR campaign.
Anything else?
On that note.
On that note, yeah.
Okay, well, when's our next meeting? The 5th?
January 5th.
See you next year.
Oh, I'm gonna stop playing harmonica.
Oh, no. See.
No. I
All right,
know.
everyone have a nice holiday.
You
did,
Vinny, thank you.
Thanks. Have a good one.
I know.
That's what I said. No, go ahead. I got plenty. I got a 5-pound box of